In 1983, Bowie released Let's Dance, the best-selling album of his career. The single Let's Dance reached number 1 on the UK and US charts, and both Modern Love and China Girl reached number 2. Let's Dance nearly won the Grammy for Album of the Year, but lost to Michael Jackson's Thriller. He was no longer the little weirdo from England who wore funny costumes. He was an international superstar. Ziggy Stardust, the dangerous androgynous alien, was gone. The thin white duke, that coked-out paranoiac, was forgotten. Even the lost and troubled Bowie of the Berlin trilogy, that wild provocateur of sound and vision, was merely a memory. With Let's Dance, a new Bowie appeared. A new persona emerged. And you know what? It was the worst one yet! Alright, a little background. For years, Bowie had been locked into a terrible contract with his former manager, Tony DeFries. A contract that split the profits of all Bowie's work 50-50. Bowie later called the contract one of the biggest mistakes of his life. And even though the two had angrily parted ways in 1975, the contract remained, which meant that half the profits from future albums for the next 7 years still went to DeFries. David Bowie, one of the biggest stars in pop music, basically had no money. I mean by pop star standards, not by regular human standards. But in 1982, that contract expired, and he was now free to do whatever he wanted. And what he wanted to do was earn money. Well, okay, maybe that wasn't the only goal, but that was a big part of it. He ditched Tony Visconti, who had produced his previous 4 albums, Low, Heroes, Lodger, Scary Monsters, you know, his best albums, and recruited Nile Rodgers, who was then famous for the band Chic, and told him, "I want hits." "All right," Nile said, "let's make hits." The album itself is fine. It's fine. It's fine. And some of the songs, such as Modern Love and the titular Let's Dance, are genuinely great. But there's also some clunkers here, like Ricochet and the abysmal Shake It. It included a cover of China Girl, a song he had written years ago for Iggy Pop, a cover of Criminal World, and a re-recorded version of his own Cat People, Putting Out Fire, which had already been used on the Cat People soundtrack. Cat People? Cat People? That can't be a real movie.
And I've been putting out fire.
It is a real movie. It's about people who turn into cats after they have sex. It's a thing. But Bowie was eager to get something, anything out there, even if it meant releasing a somewhat anemic offering. A new Bowie was emerging, a new persona. Sellout Bowie, commercial Bowie, businessman Bowie. A Bowie more interested in making money than in producing art. The change was especially noticeable after Scary Monsters. Scary Monsters was a roaring indictment of superficiality, a steely-eyed criticism of the emptiness of popular culture. And here they were, just one album later, cashing in on all those things Scary Monsters mocked. The thing is, there's always been this distinction between high art and low art. High art is imaginative, serious, the product of a singular vision of the world. High art has something to say. It is the kind of art appreciated by snobs. You know, snobs. Like me. Low art, on the other hand, or popular art, is more vulgar, more common, more about trends and popularity, and most importantly, more about making money. Popular music, the kind of music Bowie had always made, the kind of music played on the radio, is, I suppose, already on the low end of the spectrum to begin with. Low. Get it? Low? Low? Like the album? Low? Yeah? No? No. There are specific popular artists who rise above the low or popular designation and get taken seriously, not just by fans, but by culture as a whole. Bob Dylan, for instance, or Leonard Cohen, or Pink Floyd. Genuine artists whose first concern was to create something imaginative. Bowie had flirted with this sort of seriousness on albums like Scary Monsters or Low. And it should be clear by now that his career as a whole, I think, is definitely more high than low. But with Let's Dance, he came out and unequivocally said, "I'm a pop star. I want hits. I want to sell out concerts. I want to make money. And I'll make whatever music I have to in order to do that." But Let's Dance it's fine. It's fine. It's a fine album. And if it were a one-off album, just one more mutation in a series of mutations, that would have been okay, but it wasn't. Bowie followed up Let's Dance with Tonight in 1984 and Never Let Me Down in 1987, two of his most universally derided albums. We aren't even going to look at them. They're bad. Bowie seems completely lost and like he has no idea what he's doing. They both seem fake and soulless. And this was coming from someone who had made a career of being fake. Even a plastic soul is a soul. Tonight and Never Let Me Down represent the darkest parts of Bowie's creative career. And he had been a coked out addict for years. Thankfully, this period and persona didn't last. Eventually, and thankfully, the 80s ended. And eventually, and thankfully, Bowie took a long, hard look at himself and wondered, what the hell am I doing? In several later interviews, he basically disowned those two albums. He needed to get back to himself, whoever that actually was. So he once again returned to the drawing board to reinvent himself. Sellout Bowie was done. It's over. No more making albums just to make money. Gotta be creative. Gotta do something. Gotta say something. Gotta be something other than just a corporate product. Next up, 9 Inch Nails. Wait, what?